Let me start off. Okay. The story is going to be in two lines. Okay. Yeah. There are going to be two parallels over here. Now, first, you have to tell me, you see this man well dressed with all these badges and decorations and all that. He looks like a member of the royalty. Who is he? And what is his connection to Iran?
Sir, he is an last king of Iran,
Last emperor of Iran. Perfectly right. Can anyone tell his name?
Muhammad Reza Pahlavi, sir.
Wonderful. Full marks to Kumaran, right? And I'll show you the details over here. See, actually, what happened in 1941 was during the Second World War, Iran joined Germany. And because they joined Germany, the Allied forces, see, on one side you had Germany, Italy, and Japan, they were the Axis forces. And if you take on the other side, US, UK, France were the Allied forces. So the Allied forces invaded Iran and captured all their oil fields. The king of Iran was Mohammed Shah Pahlavi's father. So he left the throne. And the son was a puppet of the Allied forces. So he was ready to do what US, UK, and France said. Then a prime minister came in whose name it's mentioned over here. Each name is important. Mohammed Mossadegh. What he did was he drove the Allied forces outside and he nationalized the Anglo-Iranian oil company. What do you understand from this? If you take in India, ask your parents or your grandparents, they will tell you there was no Hindustan Petroleum. It was British Petroleum. It was Burma Shell Company. So, what did happen? What do you see here is Iran nationalizing and driving off the Allied forces. So, definitely the Allied forces would not be happy with the outcome. Now, let's go to the second question. Okay, the question will be a continuation from here. What is Operation Ajax? Okay. Now, what happened was the Allied forces were not happy with the Prime Minister of Iran driving them out. So, what did they do? They again reinstated Mohammed Shah Pahlavi and made him the king. And through that king of Iran, they were able to continue their operations. Right? So, Iran once upon a time was controlled by the Western powers. Slowly, the story will unfold. You'll be wondering, why am I saying all this? But the story will unfold. Right? Next. This is a picture shot in Iran before 1973. What is this? Okay, you can see the women here without hijabs, men drinking alcohol. In fact, more alcohol was consumed in Iran and exported from Iran than any of the Muslim countries. What do you see here? Okay. Now, this revolution was known as the White Revolution, where the king of Iran allowed them to be westernized. There was Western education, Western lifestyle, all that was happening. Now, the citizens, the common people of Iran, because it's an Islamic country, they were not happy with this elite class, with this kind of westernization happening. Now, please remember, this what was happening was the White Revolution. White means what? Okay, they are uh, changing everything into white, whitewashing the whole economy. Now, how does this story continue? Who do you see in this picture?
A supreme leader from Shia Muslim. आपने
Yes, and his name, okay, it'll ring a bell. His name was or is Ayatollah Khomeini, Khomeni. He was a Shia cleric. Now understand, there are two sects in Islam. One is Shia, one is Sunnis. So he was a Shia cleric who was in exile in Paris for 14 years. he came back to Iran and he drove Muhammad Shah Riza Pahlavi away and created the Islamic Revolution because that is what people wanted. 7 million people were there when he came to Iran, one of the biggest gatherings ever in the world to receive a leader. And he started the Islamic Revolution. Right? Now let's see the next sequence of events. Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah means the head priest. He was the head imam. Right. Okay. Now here's a picture. Ayatollah Khomeini. He was a Shia cleric leading the Islamic Revolution. And as soon as he became the leader, the Shah fled Iran. That means the total control which US, Britain had over Iran was lost. So no more was Britain or US going to get oil from Iran because Iran came under the control of Iranians. Next slide. Can anybody tell me what's happening in this picture? I think this happened in 1973. Now, inside this building
Sir,
is
they are
the
college students, I think.
So they are attacking US embassy.
Yes, correct, Deepak. They are attacking the US embassy. Now, US embassy anywhere in any country is a protected land. You're not supposed to attack the embassy. You go to Delhi, you have got the embassy of all the countries. Now, that land belongs to that country. Though you have, let us say, a Pakistan embassy in Delhi, that land belongs to Pakistan. You're not supposed to attack it. But here, they captured the embassy. 52 members were there in the embassy. They made them a hostage. Why? Because whole of Iran was antagonized towards the US. Right? Now see over here. This is called the Iran hostage crisis. So much of enmity because of what the Western powers had done to Iran. The history of the standoff that ended diplomatic contacts between United States and Iran. And on the right, you will see a Ben Affleck movie. The name of the movie is Argo. In this movie, they help 6 hostages escape from Iran. So the whole story is about how they helped 6 out of, not that 52, there were 6 more hiding somewhere else who were helped to escape from Iran. Okay. Now let's see what happens next. I hope you are able to get the sequence of events on how the enmity has led to the war today. Okay. I'm only building up the situation. What is this? Can anybody explain this picture? Because this is the next thing that happened.
Iran-Iraq war.
Yes. And you know the 2 characters. Who are they?
Saddam Hussein and
Ayatollah
Ayatollah
Khomeini.
Khomeini.
Okay. Now, Iran is a Shia country, right? And Iraq is a Sunni country. Now, both of them, okay, they are at loggerheads. Now, we will talk about that some other day. So, there was a war. Who propagated the war? Who led these 2 countries to start the war? Can you tell me? Who was the mastermind here?
Americans.
Always, always. They are the people behind the game. So, US and Arab Gulf states, they supported Iraq. Okay. And they told Saddam Hussein that, see, there could be a Shia revolution. And if Shia revolution is there, you will be overthrown. Saddam Hussein was given weapons. And finally, you know the end of the story. Saddam Hussein was killed by the Americans, right? And there was an 8-year war. And in the 8-year war, 5 lakh people were killed. You can see some pictures over here. Both the countries getting decimated. Right? Now imagine you are there in one of those countries. How would you feel? Okay, next. Can you tell me who is this person? I'll give you a clue. He's a well-known Pakistani. No idea? Okay. He is known as the father of the Islamic atom bomb? His name is
AQ Khan.
Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan. He was the father of Pakistan's nuclear bomb. Let's see how this story comes in. How does he come into this complete story? And he founded a lab called Kahuta Research Lab in Pakistan. I think sometime back I had told you the story of Ajit Doval. He went there as a beggar and he was able to collect hair samples from a barber shop. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
And they
Yes, sir.
tested the hair samples and then they found radioactive material over there. So he was the one who started that research lab. And what he did was he started providing centrifuge. Now, centrifuge, when it's just like a washing machine, it spins fast, right? And it separates uranium 235, 238. Okay. And you need uranium 238. It is the fission material. He provided to Iran, North Korea, and Libya. Now, how they came to know about is because the nuclear factory in Iran, North Korea, Libya were exactly designed like the Kahuta Research Lab. And finally, Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan had to confess that he did it. In 2004, he came on TV and confessed. Okay. But Pakistan made him a national hero. Then, what is this? JCPOA, right? Now, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. This was a plan of action which was signed by US with Iran. US, France, UK, they signed with Iran. What was the reason? They didn't want Iran to produce the atom bomb. They never wanted an Islamic bomb. So they didn't want the atom bomb. Now you look at two situations over here. If you sign the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action with a deal, okay, look at the bottom picture. What will happen is all four pathways to a bomb are blocked. But without the deal, okay, there will be a uranium stockpile, lot of centrifuges will come into Iran, and Iran would take about 2 to 3 months to produce the bomb. So they didn't want them to produce the bomb. Okay, because bomb should be only with the Western powers or with Israel. Okay, now how India produced the bomb, it's a totally different story. Get to know about it. Fine. So they signed it, but later Donald Trump canceled the deal. Right? The deal was supposed to make Iran a nuclear-free country, but they would get a lot of support from the Allied powers. But finally, Donald Trump canceled the deal. Okay. Next slide. Now let's step into, so we saw one part of the equation, we saw Iran there. Okay. Now, who plays the other role? We will discuss about that now. Who are these three kings?
Sir, the three wise men of Maggie.
No, they are not from the Magi. Okay, they are not the three wise men who went and met Jesus Christ. Okay, the first person is King Saul. The next person is King Solomon. And the third person is King David. And they were the ones who brought together the 12 Israeli tribes of Canaan together. Right? Incidentally, one of the tribes came to Cochin and they are there, okay, in somewhere around Kerala. The 12 Israeli tribes, that's what they are known as. Now, okay, I'll just read out the text. The 12 tribes of Israel in Canaan in 1200 BC. Now, Israel built a temple called the first temple of Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem is today there in modern Israel. Okay, you know what the temple is known as?
Sir, Solomon Temple.
Solomon Temple, okay. King Solomon Temple, perfect. And the temple structure, it is known as the tabernacle. Tabernacle, right? Now, in 586 BC, the Babylonians, they destroyed the temple. Okay. Now, we are not going to talk about the Assyrian or the Babylonian or your Sumerian civilization. They destroyed the temple. And again, another temple was constructed in 516 BC. Right. Now, where is the story going? Again, you see some pictures here of destruction. What is this picture about? This is a
The
very
Solomon
important.
temple was again.
Yes, again, second time it was destroyed. Now, who destroyed it the second time? The Romans. Because the Romans worshipped gods, right? And if you take the Jews, they had a different kind of worship. Okay, so they had Jehovah is their witness. They had a single God, and they didn't believe in the pagan gods. Pagan means worshipping many gods. Like the Hindus, they worship many gods. Okay, the Romans are also worshipping many gods. So they didn't like the ideology or the religious practice of the Jews. So the Romans destroyed the temple, and there was a revolt in 135 CE called the Bar Kokhba revolt, right? And after the Jews were crushed, they renamed Israel as Palestine. So the name Palestine didn't come today. It came almost 2000 years back. And now where did the Jews go? Right? They went helter-skelter and they were scattered across the world. So a section of few tribes went to Europe. Few tribes went to West Asia. One tribe came to India. And some of them went to North Africa. And this is known as the Jewish diaspora. Right? And you know, Jews are some of the most brilliant people, and they had the money, power, and finally Hitler wanted to decimate them. Okay, but we are not getting into that story now. And some of the most brilliant minds, right from Schrodinger to Max Planck to Niels Bohr to Albert Einstein, they're all Jews. Right. Okay, so the Jews are spread across the world, and then they had a tough time because millions of them were put in concentration camp and killed by the Nazis. So this man had an idea. His name was Theodor Herzl. Okay, what was his idea?
Sir, he's telling banking system.
Banking system, sir.
Okay, so he was the one who conceived that idea of let's create Israel. Right? Let's bring the Jews from all over the world back to the Holy Land. And you can see that in violet. Okay, it's known as Erz's Yisrael, and they wanted to bring them back. So it was his brainchild, which brought the Jews from all over the world back to this land. Right? Now, the Balfour Declaration. What is that? What is that? Okay. Now, let me expand this. Can somebody read this? Can somebody read what's given here? 67 words, 100-year conflict. Kindly somebody read this. Step in.
Shall I?
Yeah, sure.
I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavor to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish community in Palestine or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of Zionist Federation.
And the Zionist idea, Zionist means Israel. Okay. So Israel's other word is Zion. So after this declaration and the Second World War, Jews from all over the world were flown to this land, okay, known as Palestine. Now, in 1970, about 100 and how many? 8 years ago, the whole place belonged to the Palestinians. And here is a small strip where Israelites are living. Now, as of today, the whole place belongs to Israel, and there are small strips of land like the Gaza. Okay, most of them have been pushed. Okay, towards the Gaza and some small strips of land here and there. That's it. So this is the story. And this is the land they are fighting for. Fine. Now, the declaration which made the Jews from all over the world settle in Israel is known as the Balfour Declaration, right? And who created this document? The British. Now, who is this person? In the year 1948, this person was the first Prime Minister of Israel, right? His name is Moshe Dayan, right? Moshe, Moshe Dayan, Moshe Dayan. Now let's talk about some stories, something which happened in Israel. Can anybody tell me what is the Suez Crisis? What is the Suez Crisis?
Sir, is it about the Suez Canal?
Yes. Can you tell me what is the Suez Canal?
Sir, the trade way between England and India, sir.
No, 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 no. See,
Sir, it is
look
the
over
trade
here.
way from.
Look over here. Okay. Afterwards, look at the world map. See, you have the Indian Ocean, and from the Indian Ocean, there used to be a circuitous path before going to, to Europe or to US. You had to go from the Indian Ocean via the Pacific Ocean. Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand de Lesseps, all of them, they came in the circuitous path and they saw the New World. Now imagine taking a long detour, a long route to go from, let's say, Asia to Europe. They wanted to find a shortcut. Now, what is the shortcut? So next to the Indian Ocean, you have the Arabian Sea, and next to that, you have the Red Sea. So imagine the ship goes here to the Red Sea. Okay, and this is the Mediterranean Sea. So if it could go directly to the Mediterranean Sea, it can enter Europe. It would not have to take the circuitous path, right? But here there is land. So how could you go from Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea? And this is where Ferdinand de Lesseps, a Frenchman, created a small canal called the Suez Canal. It's a small canal, right, through which only one ship can pass at a time and go from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea and directly into Europe. A brilliant idea. Okay, now let's look at this. What is the Suez Crisis? So you have a country here, okay, so this is Israel, you have Jordan, let me show you the complete map, okay, you have Syria over here, and you have Israel here and Egypt here. You have Egypt. Egypt, remember these three countries, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, right? Okay. Egypt said, one day Egypt declared that Suez Canal belongs to me, right? That means any ship going from there, you have to pay me some rights, okay? Now, without paying me, you cannot cross that particular path. And this led to a war. So Israel won that war and they started taking some tracts of land over here called Mount Sinai. So this war gave Israel a lot of confidence that yes, we are a strong power, though we are surrounded by enemies and we can win the war. Fine. Then the next war was a 6-day war. Does anybody know what is the 6-day war? Okay. The 6-day war was a war which Israel, see a small country here, and they attack Egypt, they attack Syria, they attack Jordan, and they won the war. Now, you know what is the common border between Egypt and Israel? It is known as the Gaza Strip. Remember, Gaza, Gaza Strip. And most of the Palestinians today are living in the Gaza Strip, small bit of land. They have been pushed out of their homes. They're living over here. And then you look at this place, Syria, right? A small bit of land was taken from here. And this land is known as can anybody tell me?
West
That
Bank.
also, yes?
West Bank.
No, It's known as the Golan Heights. West Bank comes here between Jordan and Israel. This tract of land is known as the West Bank. So remember again, Gaza Strip here, West Bank here, Golan Heights here, right? Israel won this war also. Because of its supreme intelligence, it won this war, right? Now, and all the time, Iran is watching. And Iran hated Israel, okay, because they believed that Israel was planted by US and it was nothing but a colony of US, and Israel's main objective was to colonize the whole of the Middle East. And not only that, Mohammed Shah Reza Pahlavi was a very good friend of Israel. He had a lot of trade with Israel, and that also antagonized the Iranians. So Ayatollah Khomeini was totally against them. Now let's see what happens further. What is this famous Jewish festival and how do we know it? It's a very famous.
Sir,
Wonderful.
Passover.
Wonderful. It's, somebody said Yom Kippur, Yomkuppur. It's a Jewish festival conducted every year. Now, why is this famous? Why is this famous? Yom Kippur.
Sir, are they celebrating their freedom from Egypt?
No, it's a religious festival. It's a religious festival.
Sir, some holy day.
Huh? Yeah,
Holy
yes, it's a holy day. So in 1973, okay, remember your Moshe Dayan came to power in 1948. In 1956, they captured huge tracts of Mount Sinai. Then afterwards, they had 1967, the Six-Day War, when they took over Gaza, West Bank, and Golan Heights. Now, who are the enemies of Israel now? Egypt, Syria, Jordan. So all of them said, you won the 1967 war, now we'll attack you. So when they were celebrating the festival, right? Okay, they celebrated the festival. On the day of the festival, all these three countries from all the three sides, Egypt from here, Jordan from here, Syria from here, they attacked Israel. And that war is known as the Yom Kippur War. Initially, okay, Israel had to take a huge bashing, but then they were able to retaliate after that, thanks to the support of US. What's happening in this picture? Who are they? Can you tell me who these three persons are? This is Anwar Sadat, who was the Prime Minister of Egypt. This is Menachem Begin, who was the Prime Minister of Israel. And this is Jimmy Carter, the President of US. So Jimmy Carter brought them to a place called Camp David. And he made them sign a treaty. It's a very interesting story, right? I will get into that story some other day, how he made them sign the treaty. And Israel and Egypt surprisingly became friends. And after that, Egypt never disturbed Israel, right? Many of the Egyptians were very upset because Anwar Sadat signed the deal with Menachem Begin, and in 1981, Anwar Sadat was killed. It's known as the Camp David. Remember that, right? What's happening in this picture? Who are they? Who is this? Who is this? Bill Clinton. Who is this?
Sir, Yasser Arafat.
Yasser Arafat. Brilliant. And who is Yasser Arafat? He was the one who started Palestine Liberation Organization. Okay, supposedly a terrorist organization to attack Israel with the funding of Iran. With the funding of Iran, they wanted to push back and regain the territory which they had lost to Israel. Right? Yes, Sudarshan. And this person is Yitzhak Rabin, who was the Prime Minister of Israel then. They are sending a Sudarshan. Yes. And you can read it over here. What is the Oslo Accord? Oslo Accord, where the first direct Palestinian-Israel peace agreement takes place. They were meant to initiate future peace talks with the desired goal of a two-state solution, which was never achieved, right? So they wanted to have two states. One is state of Palestine, one is state of Israel, but it never came into being. And Yasser Arafat, he died a miserable death. Okay, it seems he was poisoned. By whom? It's your guess. And PLO became a very weak organization. When PLO became a very weak organization, new organizations had to be created. Do you know which are the new organizations created? Which are funded by Iran? Which are funded by Iran? New organizations.
Maybe Hamas.
Yes, Hamas, Hezbollah. So the Houthis in Yemen, they were the new organization created. Now can you see on one side, Iran funds these organizations to put Israel down. On the other side, Israel doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear power, right? Okay. And Israel always has the support of US. Okay. Because even if you notice in the US dollar, you will see the I over there. Okay. So the I over there, it's nothing but a Jewish symbol. So they believe in the Old Testament. Okay. They get into believing, okay, that the Jews are the direct descendant of God. So there is a religious dispute over here. Fine. Now, who is supporting Iran? Iran's group is known as the Axis of Resistance. Who is supporting them? Any idea? Right. Now, just look into this. In Iraq, these are the three organizations which are supporting Iran. Okay. And one of them is BADR, Badr organization. Fine. In Lebanon, there is a group called Hezbollah in Lebanon, right? In Gaza, there are two groups. One is Hamas, one is Islamic Jihad. In Yemen, there is a group called the Houthis, right? So all of them are supporting Iran. Plus, who else?
Russia,
Russia, yes, and
China.
North Korea.
China and Russia are giving strategic support to Iran. And also, Iran had a talk with Modi ji about 2 or 3 days back. They had a very good talk with them while the war is going on. Okay? Yes. Now, which countries support Israel and Iran? Sorry, Israel.
US.
Yes. If US supports, who will support?
Europe
UK.
nations.
Yeah, okay. So I got the list over here. UK, Germany, Georgia, Canada, US, Ukraine, France. Okay, India is put on this side also. Switzerland, Saudi Arabia. Interestingly, Arab nations, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, Egypt, Jordan, Greece, Cyprus, they all support Israel. And Palestine here, they have a few supporters. One very important person among them is Qatar, right?